Hello my friends, welcome back to another tutorial. It's been a while, I know. I have been very busy with my job and painting commissions, that kind of thing, and I suppose life in general. Very busy with life in general. Lots of things going on, no time to paint. It's been very difficult to find time to paint this past 2 weeks. I've been becoming anxious because I want to get painting. So I'm going to do a nice tutorial, something different this week, a still life, very old age kind of a painting, very classical kind of an image. You'll probably see them many times. A little metal jug, a wine glass with some wine and a little apple. So a lovely little still life, a very kind of an old-fashioned type of a scene. Beautiful colours, lovely subtle colours. I thought it might be nice to try this, maybe do a two-part tutorial in this. So we voted on my Patreon page, they want me to paint this, so I'm going to paint this for my patrons. And they also asked me, could I paint the second one? I gave them a choice of two images. This one, and the second one was a glass bowl with some apples. Something similar in tonal contrast to this, very old style. So I'm going to paint that for my my patrons then next week. So I told them I'd do this for my channel and we'll do one for Patreon as well next week. So I hope you're happy enough with that, my friends. Yes, excited to try this. I won't try to paint it as a photographic representation, but I want to try and get some really nice lifelike brushstrokes in there as well. So, you know, something really nice. Anyway, I have left Facebook for a while, in case you're wondering where I am and you haven't seen any posts up on my page recently. I did just deactivate my page for a little while because it just takes up so much time. You know yourself, you're probably the very same. When you're busy in life, it just takes up a lot of time, and I just don't have the time, if you know what I mean. I want to focus on what I'm doing in my life and painting. Do you know what I mean? I just want to crack on with painting, and I just find you're probably the same, I guess. Sometimes Facebook can become a little bit intrusive and a little bit overwhelming. So I thought, you know, I've so much going on at the moment that I just felt I just needed to put it to one side just for a little while. A couple of weeks, you know, maybe 1 or 2 months or something like that. See how I go. And just put it to one side just for a while and concentrate on painting and other stuff as well that I have going on. I'm busy with commissions, all that kind of stuff. So a lot going on. So if you don't see me on Facebook for a while, that's why. But you can still email me if you have any questions about anything. The email address is there on the description. Please feel free to email me if you have any questions whatsoever. I do want to keep in contact with everyone, but it's difficult, you know, without Facebook, because everyone is on Facebook. All your friends can see you and all that. So if you have any questions about anything in the videos, please do just email me, okay? Enough of me blabbering on. I want to get painting. I'm excited to get painting with this. I have a quick sketch on my canvas. I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if I can turn this just a little. There we go. There it is. A nice canvas, 20 by 20. I primed it once, sanded it very lightly with some sandpaper. It's lovely and smooth. And there's a sketch. Little jug, a wine glass, and a nice apple next to it. Very old age. Now, I have a photograph here, look. That's the photograph. Let me take off this and show you. Okay, just for a moment. Now, there is the photograph. Isn't that lovely? So I think something like this now, lovely earthy colours and lots of reflection, that kind of thing. So I'm thinking this will be really nice to paint. I'm very excited. So I'm going to try it. If you're into something like this, do follow me along. I'll try and simplify it, but I will also be adding lots of detail. Anyway, have fun, my friends. I'll see you very soon. Don't go anywhere. Okay, my friends, let's go. Let's have a crack at this. Now, there's my drawing. Okay, it's not perfect. It took me a few tries just to get the proportions right. But look, we can change it as we go. So these are my colours. I have a few extra colours that I might not need, but just in case. I have titanium white, Naples yellow, cadmium yellow pale, alizarin crimson, phaylo blue, cerulean blue, burnt umber black. I have a little magenta and burnt sienna as well, but I might not need them, okay? Not this time anyway. So let's go. I'm going to work on a dry canvas, I think. I might leave some brush strokes in the background as well. Now you see that lovely background colour? It's a very classical kind of a colour, isn't it? Almost kind of Victorian. That kind of a muddy, greeny, brown kind of a shade. So let's see if we can mix that colour now first. I'll dampen my brush. I'm thinking that colour is possibly, I'm going to get Naples yellow. I'm going to try Naples yellow with some phthalo blue. Okay, that gives us a nice kind of a green colour, doesn't it? You can see some kind of a muddy green. Now we're actually probably not even far off with that as it is. Now I need a lot more paint. I didn't get enough paint there at all, did I? So let's put plenty of Naples yellow up there. Let's go into some Naples yellow, a little touch of phthalo blue. I was thinking cerulean blue and brown, but that could possibly be the colour as well. Let's take some white. And I want to mix up a nice bit of this now because we have plenty of background to cover. You can oil this if you like, but I'm going to leave it because it's fairly smooth at the moment. So let's mix this up now. Get a bit more phthalo blue and a little more Naples yellow. That gives us a nice green, doesn't it? Now I might take a slight touch of black, maybe. Let's just try this. It's that kind of a grey, greeny colour. Don't know if you can see that. It's kind of a grey green. It's a kind of very soft pastel kind of a green, isn't it? Now, okay, now that might not be bad. I think maybe a hint of burnt umber. So we're just kind of trying this as we go now, just adding slight little shades into this. Perhaps cerulean. Now, that will go very blue again. So again, let's take some Naples yellow. I'm kind of going for this kind of side here, this color, this medium kind of shade. We can then lighten it and darken it, okay? So yeah, I don't think that might be half bad. Let's try that. That's okay. We can add to this, isn't that right? And you can add your own colors if you like as well. Just pop that in there like that. Now it does transition very quickly. It goes light, medium and dark, very dark, doesn't it? And you can see my mixes are actually quite wet. They're not very thick mixes. I might thicken it up just slightly. So I'm going to get more Naples yellow, a little touch of cerulean perhaps, let's try that, and maybe a touch of black, hint of black. That'll give us a nice, very kind of a dull grey sort of a hue. Okay, let's go with that for now. Now, I was thinking actually of even making it slightly cooler than what it is there, but I'm just not entirely sure. I might actually add a hint of cerulean into this and a hint of black. So you can see now it's going much cooler, isn't it? Much cooler shade. And I think that colour, as it comes across, might be nicer. And we can warm it then as we need. Okay. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to paint through the top half of the glass as well, okay? Because we have that colour on the top half of the glass anyway. So I might as well paint right through the top half of the glass, leaving the bottom, okay? So wherever the wine stops, let's just go around here like this. And I can still see my pencil lines a little, so that's fine. And I'm going to paint through the bottom as well. I can still see my lines, so I'm not too worried about losing the drawing of this, okay? A standard pencil, that's what I use. Now, I'm going to start lightening, okay? I'm going to take some white and then another hint of cerulean. You could use phthalo as well, but I think the cerulean might give me a slightly nicer, softer colour. A little touch of Naples yellow there as well. So cerulean blue, Naples yellow, and lots of white, plenty of white. Now I am also going to paint up the sides of this canvas because I'm putting a floating frame on this canvas later, so the sides will be showing. So look, as I add the colour, Might as well just put it on there, isn't that right? So I'm putting that on, and I'm going to soften that into our medium shade then in the middle, you see? Just soften it through. Now, you can just alternate your brush strokes, look. That gives a nice effect. So crisscross, that kind of effect, you see? And move your paint around just to make it nice and even, so it's slowly transitioning from one colour to the next. You see what I mean? Just like that. Okay. Now, I'm going to start going really dark, because over here, you can see even the handle on this metal jug, it disappears into the background, so it's really, really dark. Let me just give that a wipe. So a really dark colour, and it does get slightly richer in green, doesn't it? A little. You can see even here, there's a lovely rich dark olive kind of a green in that. So I'm taking Naples yellow. I'll go with a little black. Now I'm going to take a little cadmium yellow as well. That's straight away giving us this beautiful dark greeny colour. So let's get some more cadmium yellow, and perhaps even burnt umber, look, because burnt umber and cadmium yellow gives you a lovely rich autumny green. So if you took this colour now, you see that muddy green, and then maybe even add a little black into that. We could get away with that. I'm going to start that just here, okay? Now my mix is not very wet, it's only slightly wet, but you see, because my canvas is primed and it's nice and soft and all of that, the paint is going further, all right? If your canvas is very, very dry at home, this won't go as far, it'll almost soak right in. So if that happens, just add a little thinners. Right down in here. It's very dark down inside there as well, isn't it? I'm going to bring it out this way just slightly. Now, of course, you don't have to copy this background. You can paint your own background, okay? You could try different colours. But I really like this graduation from light into dark. I think it's really eye-catching, isn't it? Now, flick it over into the lighter shade like that, okay? And don't worry, even if this is not perfect, we can still add to this later as well. Okay, let's go much darker. Let's take some phthalo blue this time. That will give us a very dark colour. And some burnt umber. Now that's giving us a real dark green, isn't it? There we go. Look at that. Now, around the top of the jug, I'm going to go right through the handle. We can paint in the handle at a later stage, so don't worry about that just for now. A tiny touch of thinners just to thin this a little bit. Some cadmium yellow, some phthalo blue, and some burnt umber. Now, maybe too much burnt umber. Let's just take a bit more blue. You see how strong these colours are? A little bit goes a very long way. And maybe a hint of cadmium yellow. Again, I'm going for a very rich dark green, but a warm kind of a green. There's a very warm green over in this side. But as I said, I can add colours to this. So this is not the final colour, all right? I do hope you try this now, because it's really fun. It really is. It's nice to try a still life every now and again. It's a real refreshing change from landscapes. Okay? Very refreshing. So you should definitely try it. And as well, you know, this is just the blocking in stage. When we get to the details, that's when it's going to really get interesting, I think. Just soften this across here. Create a nice little transition. I'm going to put some of that colour in here as well. It's very dark down here, isn't it? It's almost like a blacky green, isn't it? So I'm just going to keep adding to it until I'm fairly happy with the colour I have. I'll go down the side of my canvas, just quickly. Doesn't have to be perfect, just as long as it's blocked in with that colour. Okay, now. There we go. Okay, Now I'm going to sit back. Oh, I'm going to sit back and take a look. That's very, very important. You have to sit back. Now I need to go much, much darker with this. I'm going to clean this colour off my brush just quickly on some tissue. And I'm going to go straight into some black and yellow. I'm going to take some lamp black and some cadmium yellow. Lots of it, look. Let's go right in there. A nice rich, dark, dark green. Forest kind of a green. And this will naturally be a warm green because of the black. So it will naturally be warm. Let's take more yellow in that. I might even go for a tiny hint of sienna. That tiny hint I think will help. Let's try this now. There we go. So you see now it's just darkening ever so slightly. The more paint we add, it's just getting darker bit by bit. It does come across quite a bit, doesn't it, this dark shade. So let's bring it across a little bit more. More cadmium yellow, a little bit of black, and some burnt sienna. That little sienna is just warming this green ever so slightly, okay? It's just giving it that little touch of warmth, that browny, greeny, warmy colour. Let's go down here with that as well. And if you're worried about losing your drawing of your glass, you could just go around it and then go inside with a small brush, but I'm fairly confident I'll be able to pick out the lines afterwards, okay? So I'm not too worried about that. Not too worried. But if you are, do just go around, okay? Take your time. And I generally paint quite quickly anyway, so I might be going far too quickly for you. You can just stop the video whenever you feel like it and take your time with this. Now, a little burnt sienna, cadmium yellow, and put a little splash of that up there. In fact, even just some cadmium yellow on its own. Just want to add a little hint of warmth bouncing off of the wall. Could be coming from something else. But I think just a little touch. And finally, I'm going to go nice and dark for the extreme right-hand side. Okay, because the dark colours in this will bring out those highlights, especially these here, okay? So nice and dark, let's go. Some black, some phaylo blue. More black again, and I will get some burnt umber. And I want to keep this warm, so perhaps a hint of crimson. Now, if you look at this side of that silver canister here, okay, this jug, you'll see it's reflecting some warmth from outside of the picture, okay? It's reflecting some little hints of the yellow. So I'd imagine there's some kind of a light coming this way as well, just a little bit. It could be perhaps a fire or something like that, an open fire, but you can see it. So I'm going to try and just warm it slightly with some burnt umber and sienna. You could even pop a little cadmium red in there if you wanted to. Completely up to yourself. Perhaps a hint of crimson. Crimson with burnt umber will add that nice little warmth right in the corner up here. And I'm going to put some of that down in here as well. So very earthy colours, I think, with this painting. Very earthy. And it's nice to paint something with earthy colours as well for a change, rather than painting bright landscape colours. It's a nice change. It's very refreshing. I do like to try different things each week. So, you know, I think it just keeps the channel, this channel, it keeps it nice and fresh. And every week you know it's going to be something slightly different that you may not have tried. I know there are lots of channels out there which kind of focus primarily on landscapes every single time. And for me, I just get kind of bored really from looking at landscape artists painting constantly. I like to see something different. So I always find myself clicking on a still life or maybe just a cloud tutorial or something like that. It's nice just to try something different, I think. Okay, let me stop and sit back and take a look at this. How is that looking? It's not bad, is it? Not too bad. Now, if you notice, the background over here, it almost disappears down into the table, doesn't it? Is it a table? Is it down on the floor? I don't know. Probably a table. But it looks like it just disappears down here onto the table. Let's just assume it's a table. So I'm going to go very dark. And I'm going to soften these in together, okay? And it comes down onto the table like this. Maybe a hint of cerulean as well. Because even though this is a brown table, so you have to think about colours, you see. Even though this is probably a dark brown table, it's reflecting the colours from the wall onto its shiny surface. So you're going to get hints of this colour, this greeny colour, onto the table as well. So I've taken a hint of cerulean blue as well, okay? And that little hint of cerulean blue will just tie everything together. It'll tie the whole painting together. So look, a little more cerulean, go a little bit more bluey. And again, it's really, this is just the preliminary filling in stage, all right? You know, we will be adding colours to this later. Let's go across here and cut right into that background wall up there. Let's go right up there. I will go over this again as well, you see. I'll go over it again later, in part 2 perhaps, and get a nice strong line right across there. So I think we could probably just leave this as it is for now and work our way down some other time. Let me see, let's take some white, some cerulean blue, in with that browny colour we had. So you can see what I mean now, you know, they're kind of, it's complementing the wall colour. So we get these little hints of those colours popping through. Let's get some brown, some black, and a little crimson. We come over here, pop that colour on there. And look, as we are doing the bottom, we might as well continue on and just get the blocking in finished anyway. Let's just do the blocking in stage. And we'll move on then to our, perhaps we could do the jug first, yes? I think that might be the best option. So we'll start working on the jug in just a moment, okay? A little bit of cerulean down there. Just get this all filled in nicely, yes? Cerulean with some black. So you can see I'm just kind of popping little hints of colour in here and there. Particularly in here, I'm going to go very dark. I'll go black with cerulean blue and crimson. And that slight purpley kind of tone will help with the shadow, okay? So anything purpley in by the shadows will really help bring the dark side to life, if you understand what I mean by that. I'll go pure black down in here. Okay, I think that's enough for now. I don't think we need to go any further with that background. I know now that looks very dark to you. There is very light colours in there as well. What I might do is just bring some of that light across, yes? Should we try that? For the purpose of the camera and for you to see it, it does look much darker on camera than it actually is. So for the purpose of yourselves and to help you, I'm just going to add some light into that, okay? Naples yellow, cerulean blue. A little bit more Naples yellow, okay? So we have this sort of a light green colour again. I'm just going to pull that in ever so slightly, okay? Now, does that help you a little? I hope it does. I really do. I'm going to take some Naples yellow and pull some Naples yellow. Just going to leave that kind of flick in here and there. So we're already getting some of the reflections from the lights on this jug, you see? Now, what you can do as well is, while this is nice and wet, we could add a little flick of red in here, couldn't we? Like a pinky red. So should we just add a little bit of pinky red? And at least then we'll have some of the reflection done already. I think that would save us a lot of time, wouldn't it? Let's do it. So if this apple is very bright and rich in red, okay, the shadow and the reflection, because it's on a dark table, is going to be slightly duller. So I'm thinking crimson and cadmium red with a very dry brush. Okay, and possibly even a hint of burnt umber. Well, that might warm it ever so slightly, but I think this will work. So let's say perhaps here, and pull it outwards ever so slightly, look. So then we already have a slight reflection, don't we? Now we could add a darker pink. Let's say, let's go crimson and burnt umber. Nice dark colour. And put some of the dark on this side. And pull that out. Look, very gently. And then we need to add some light into that, don't we? Let's just simply take some cadmium yellow and cadmium red, okay? Go for a nice light, slightly orange colour. Softening them back. And I may go slightly lighter again. I may go with some cadmium yellow pale, a little white, and some cadmium red. Give that a nice mix, and possibly pop a little touch of that colour just where you think the highlight is hitting the apple, okay? You see there? Just a little. Already it's beginning to come together, isn't it? I'm going with a little bit more of a warm red again, just for around the middle. So I'm building up the colours. I'm not just going straight in for the finished product, if you know what I mean. I'm building it up nice and slowly. Now I'm going to stop at that. I'm going to step back and take a look. My next stage now, for me, is to soften all this together with my lovely soft little fan brush. Now, this is a makeup brush, okay? Don't tell my wife, because she'll get very cross with me. So, between me and you, this is my wife's little powder brush, I think. Is it a powder brush? I'm not sure. Either way, it's good for painting, so I'm having it. There we go. Let's get that nice and soft. Now, next thing I'm going to do, while that's wet actually, because you have to think ahead, while it's wet, it's a good idea to do certain things. I need to get my flat palette knife. Where is it? It's here somewhere. Because you see the lines of the tabletop, or is it the floorboard? I'm not quite sure which. you can see those little light lines popping through. So I'm going to just try and get some of those done while this is wet, okay? You could do it when it's dry as well, but I kind of just prefer to get them done when they're slightly wet, because it kind of almost softens in just that little bit nicer. So okay, let's try this. Just a little bit of an orangey color here, and let's pick up a little bit and just go for it. Let's say down here. It just disappears then, doesn't it? Now I know they're not straight. Don't worry. That's one. And another one just under the apple, isn't it? Like so. Let's do a little bit of work. I know I said I wasn't going to, but to be honest, I cannot resist the temptation to do it. So I'm going to just add some little lights into this. Firstly, I'm going to soften this through using a single brush stroke like that. And down here. I'm going to add some little touches of light here and there with a smaller brush. Let's get some cerulean blue, some white, and some Naples yellow. These really are the two primary colours I'm using for a lot of the mixes in this. I want to create just a grainy effect on this surface. I don't want it to be just like a flat colour. So I just want to create a little bit of grain here and there. Or the impression at least of a little bit of grain. You see what I mean? It's just a little touch more movement, that's all. And while I have this colour, I'm going to actually put the reflection, suggest the reflection from this down here as well. Okay, you can see it's just literally lots of little lines, isn't it? There's even a hint of a warmer colour as well going through that. And I can also see a hint of a bright blue. There's a lovely blue just on the very top of that little reflection just here. You see that little hint of blue? Just like so. Okay. And maybe just a slightly stronger one just on the inside there. So we already have a lot of our reflections done. You see? We have a good bit of them done already. Maybe a hint of white just there. And I could put even a strike of it through here as well. Look. Now, to be honest, I'm kind of learning this as I'm going as well, just like you at home. I'm trying it to see if it works. And if you think it looks okay, then keep going. So, how is that looking so far? I'm going to add some light into that colour just there. That orange in the apple, I just want to pop a little of that with my smaller brush. I think it needs it. Just a touch. bit of red, and I think it just needs a hint of that colour in there, and then a bit more reddy as it comes across. So you can see I'm just working on it. I'm adding more and more as I go. Simply, that's all I'm doing. Then a slightly darker one with some crimson and burnt umber over on this side here. Okay, now up under here I'm going to go very dark. I want to go black and crimson, all right? Because I want to get real dark in behind there, maybe some burnt umber as well. I want to get real dark in behind the apple in here, okay? I'm going to just drag that dark colour across, and it's almost cutting into the reflection a bit. Look, just drag a bit of dark colour right across. And get nice and dark in there, and then follow that across here. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm simply just going to soften all of this out. Just soften it together a little. And you can soften this out as well. I am missing a little touch of that red colour just down here. Little hint of it. It does come down quite a bit, doesn't it? Okay. How is that looking? Now, it does look quite cold on your screen. I might warm these ever so slightly. I think they need a little bit of warming, don't they? I'm going to go with, let's go with a warm green first. Some yellow, some burnt umber. We could even just put some of that in there. Just again to reflect the colours from the wall slightly, okay? Now that may be a little bit better. I'm going to leave it, okay? Let's leave it. There is one piece that's just annoying me, a little bit of light for the apple. Now I know maybe I'm fiddling just a little, I know, and I know I shouldn't be, but sometimes it's difficult not to, isn't it? When you know that it has to be done, sometimes it's just difficult not to fiddle with your colours. I'm going to pop a little touch of light just here. Softening it back. This would be difficult to do with acrylics because acrylics will dry very quickly. So that's the lovely thing about oils. It stays wet for hours and hours. You can come back at a later stage and soften colours together. So I think for now, I'm going to just leave this and we can come back to all this later on. What time have we got? 35 minutes, everyone. It's not bad. Next we have this lovely jug. Let's focus on this and try and get this looking somewhat similar. Yes, I get some paint. Okay, let's start. Now, it's a mix of colours, isn't it? I might start with the warmer shade that we have here. I'm going to get some Naples yellow and a little cadmium yellow and possibly some burnt umber. Now, let me just try that. Okay, that's a nice base colour. I'll just darken it slightly, perhaps with some burnt sienna. And then a little more cadmium yellow and a hint of cerulean. That hint of cerulean will make this slightly on the greener side, okay? Okay, I'm going to go with that for now. I'm going to start with the drawing. Just get this filled in. This stage is always the most difficult, isn't it? I find, always. I'm taking some black, some phthalo blue. I'm going to go nice and dark with this down here. You can see that lovely dark we have down at the bottom. I'm filling it in right across, all the way. Bring it right down. Don't worry about your lights now, okay? So what I'm doing now at this stage is I'm forgetting about highlights completely. I'm just focusing on this color on this side, all right? That's the focus. And we worry about our lights and reflections and all that kind of stuff later on. Let's get some cadmium yellow and a little burnt sienna. I'm going to just start adding little hints of this warm color now, where you think you can see little reflections, okay? And although we know that this jug is probably like a silvery, an antique silver, because of all the colors around it, it's reflecting those colors. So that's why the only thing that tells you this is silver is that big reflection here, okay? That bright reflection from a window. That's the only hint you get that it's a kind of an antique silver jug. For me, well, for me anyway. That's the only suggestion. Now I'm taking some phthalo blue with Naples yellow and some white. And I'm going to pop that colour in around here. A very important thing about painting glasses and cups and jugs like this is to always follow the contour of whatever it is. So you see out here, I'm following this in a curve. You see that? Follow the curve. When it gets to the middle, it's almost going to be flat, just straight down, because you're right in the center of the curve, you see. So it's going to be pretty much straight like this. Okay? As it goes out to the side, then it starts curving again, you see. Now, don't be trying to get this perfect every time, okay? Don't be trying to get it perfect. It's not going to be perfect first time round. It's going to take a few layers of paint to get this right. So really, you know, don't be disheartened if you don't think it's right the first time. Just keep working on it. Now I'm going to zoom in on my photograph I have here, just to get a better look. I'm going to stop there like that, okay? Now, you don't have to do all these little flicks, all right? Because we can blend all of this together now very soon. I'm just going to go up here. I'm going to add some of that nice greeny blue just on the outside. And I'm going to create a sort of rough look that it's very old, almost like it's speckled, that very rough antique silver, okay? And this is only just all the early stages now. Don't be thinking that this is finished. Not by a long way, okay? I get some cadmium yellow, and I'll take a hint of burnt sienna. I'm going to pop that warm colour just up here for a moment. I'll take some more of that cadmium yellow, and what I'm going to do is add little flicks of that colour. You see, there's tiny flicks of it here and there. In the reflection, I mean. So there, for example, and a little bit there, soften it through. Then I'm going to get some burnt umber with cadmium yellow. I'm going to put some of that through there, okay? See this lovely dark colour we have. It's a lovely rich kind of a glow, isn't it, coming from one side. Maybe a bit of burnt umber in there as well. Just flicking my brush around loosely. Okay. So the colours are starting to come to life, ever so slowly. Now I'll take some of this bluey, dark bluey colour, and I'm just going to go around the edge just to finish this side up here. And I'm not even too bothered about getting the lines just right, because we can finish all of this with a pointy brush later. So, you know, don't be trying to get it perfect first time. I just really want to get the colouring just right here and there. Okay, I'll take a hint of cerulean blue. I'm going to pop some cerulean blue in here. And I'm just really hoping that it kind of works. Do you understand what I mean? That's what I'm thinking. I'm not trying to create a photograph with this. I'm just hoping that it really just takes shape and starts to come together a little bit. A lot of painting is to do with, you know, just hoping it works. And if it doesn't, you go back and you try something else. Firstly, I'm just going to soften all of this now together with my brush. You see what I'm doing? Just pulling it all downwards, following the shape of the jug, okay? Now, as well, to create that nice kind of fuzzy look, you can go around in little circles like this. That will give you that nice fuzzy look here and there, okay? The real magic will happen in this when I put that very bright reflection on the front, that highlight. That's when the real magic is going to happen, I think. Okay, let me stop and take a look. Let's sit back and take a look. It's slowly come together, isn't it? Now I'm going to go very dark, and I think that will be part one finished, because we got through a lot, didn't we? I'm going to go for black and cadmium yellow. Now I need more cadmium yellow. I'm going for a very blacky green down here, okay? Let's take some cadmium yellow into the black. Now I know it does look, from your perspective, it probably just looks pure black, but it is a very dark green, okay? And even burnt umber. Let's go with burnt umber as well. I want to brown that up a little bit. I want to go very dark. And I will go darker again, believe it or not, on this. But I'm doing it in stages, okay? I find that's the trick. Do it in stages. Okay, let's go up like that. Then I'm going to take some phthalo blue and go very cold over on this side. A little bit of that there. Soften it across. Black phthalo blue up under here. Okay. You see, I'm just kind of being I'm letting the brush almost kind of dance around as I'm doing it. You see, just flicking it around here and there. I don't want to be too perfect with all of this. Too perfect, just kind of loose. Do you understand? Loose and enjoying it. That's probably the word I would use. Loose and just enjoying it. I'll take a hint of burnt sienna. I can see slight hints of burnt sienna just around the center here. It's reflecting something warm. Could be like a flame or something. So just a tiny hint of that there, maybe just a little bit of it there. And up here as well. Okay. There's also a little touch of that over here. Coming down. You can see it's sort of a very dirty effect, you see. I'm just kind of roughing up the surface now just a little. Roughing it up. It's a very old jug, isn't it? So it needs to be slightly rough. Then I'm going to go really, really dark. I'm going to go probably just pure black with this. Now, I haven't forgotten about the ends. I'll put those in later, okay? I know you're probably thinking, he forgot the ends. Nope, I did not. I'm just going to take my time and I'm going to put those in later. There's no rush with the end. That's a fairly simple thing to do later. And then a little bit of black just here. There we go. Then I'm going to take a little phthalo blue. Pop a little phthalo blue in down here. Again, just to add to the shadow side of all of this. And I'll do the same up here, okay? Black first, look. Pull a lot of black down. And then maybe pick up a little cerulean blue. And again, I'll soften that. Okay, I'm going to just kind of go around in little circles with the tip of my soft brush. You could use a regular flat brush as well now if you wanted, okay? You don't have to use this particular fan brush. You could just use a regular flat one. I just want to soften it up. And you can see how the hairs are picking up some of the paint and kind of dropping them off here and there, adding to the old look of the vase. That's kind of what I'm after, really, just that old speckled kind of look. And I know I'm probably making this a little bit too complicated for you at home. If it is, I do apologize, but I really do want to just capture as much realism on this as I can. The next step I'm going to do to finish this jug is that highlight. I think we should try the highlight, yes? Come on, let's have a bit of fun with this. Let's go to town on this. Okay, clean brush. I'll take some phaylo blue and some white, even some cerulean blue as well. Let's start off with that colour. Let's pop a little of that, like so. And it's simply really a case of just looking at your photograph nice and closely and seeing where the lines are going with those lights. That's probably the best, easiest way I can explain it. Look at the lines and just follow the direction of those lines. So I can see there's a kind of a very bright in the center, but then there's a kind of a soft blue on the outsides. Am I right? Take a good look now and see on the photograph. You really have to zoom in to see it, but there's like this soft blue on the outside, and then a very bright white in the center. So then I'll clean my brush, and I'm going to go very bright. There's almost a white with a hint of Naples yellow in there as well. Very bright, luminous white, okay? Let's put that like this. So it starts there. It almost stops a little, and then it continues on down here, okay? And then it's a very bright spot of a whitey yellow just around here. Possibly something that's reflecting like a light or something. There's something reflecting just around here. So I'll pop a little bit of that in, just here. Now I might need some clean yellow. You see how dirty my yellow is there? It's very dirty, isn't it? I might need some clean yellow for that. I'm going to go up here. Like so. Bringing it up at a slight angle. Now, nobody said painting reflections on this type of thing was going to be easy. It is quite difficult, actually. But look, it's a lot of fun trying, isn't it? I must say it's a lot of fun. Now we're not finished this by a mile, okay? I'm just getting the general, the general effect of what I want. But what I'm going to do then is I'm going to take my wide palette knife here, my sharp flat palette knife with some blue and some white, and I'm actually going to scrape a little of that very bright colour onto it, okay? I think that will give you a much nicer reflection, doesn't it? A much rougher kind of a reflection. Now you can keep doing this because we have the advantage of softening these colours together if we want. Which of course is the nice thing about oils. So we can put on plenty of this if we like, and then soften it back in with the oils, with the soft brush if we don't like it. That's the fantastic thing about oils. Okay. I'm going to take then some of this nice rich yellowy colour. I'm going to pop a little bit of that, it's almost like a goldy colour, in over here, and a little bit of it down here. Okay. You can begin to see how it works, can't you? A nice warm, almost like a rusty colour here and there over on this side. I think that will really bring this to life. What do you think? It does a bit, doesn't it? Now, just to finish this little section for now, I'm going to take a very pointy brush and just pop a nice couple of darks and a couple of lights here and there. So, for instance, let me get my little stick here. I am going to darken this black up here. Okay, and I'm going to go over to this side up here and put a little dark, just like that. Then I'm going to get some bright whitey bluey colour and go up here and see that little tiny reflection we have on the rim. See that? Just there. And a little there. Then a touch of white. Nice bright white. Okay. And my friends, I think I am going to call this part 1 finished. I think that's enough for one tutorial, isn't it? I don't want you getting tired and switching off, so I'm going to just call it part 1 finished. A bit of a reflection just here and there. Done. Well, thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed that. I'm going to just fix the exposure on this now because you're probably seeing the wrong exposure. There we are. We have at least some of it done, which is a good thing. We're doing well. We're going well. Let's fix this here. I hope you enjoyed that. Part 1. We can make part 2. We can even make part 3 if you want to take it slowly. Just let me know if it's too long for you. I can kind of go through it quickly, but then you're not getting the proper learning, proper little techniques. So I prefer to take my time and do a nice in-depth tutorial rather than just kind of skipping along and skimming over everything. I hope you've enjoyed part 1. I'll be back very soon with part 2. I will be doing it in the next 2 days. I don't want to leave too much of a break between tutorials. So let me know what you think. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you so much, my friends. God bless you all and happy painting. Take care.